Okay, this is Mrs. Ross. Welcome to part 2 of Module C, Unit 2, Lesson 3, notes. So we were on this quick check. We answered this question. We're going to answer the diagram. The diagram models succession in an ecosystem, and the diagram we're talking about, is this one. How can you tell from the diagram that this is an example of secondary succession rather than of primary succession? So the answer is B. Soil is present at the beginning of the process. Okay. And then the next question, it says the table lists the number and variety of organisms in 4 different ecosystems. I don't know if you can actually see what's on the table. Hopefully it's better on your paper, but it says predict what would happen to ecosystem 3 immediately after a volcanic eruption. So if you look at the table, ecosystem 3 has 100 plants of 2 different species and 200 organisms of 5 different species. So it gives you the number of organisms and the number of species. It's not the most diverse, but the answer to this question is that its biodiversity would decrease. Okay, so let's keep on scrolling. How is secondary succession different from primary succession? And the answer is D. Secondary succession occurs after disturbance in an area in which soil has remained intact. And then the last question, I think, that we have here, it says the picture shows an ecosystem that experienced a flood several months before. Is the ecosystem more likely a result, that should be a result of primary or secondary succession? So that's secondary succession. And explain how the high biodiversity of this ecosystem would affect its recovery during the flood. So here is the ecosystem that we're talking about. And the ecosystem would probably survive a few changes because it is mature and has diverse vegetation and organisms. So we have high biodiversity, which means that the ecosystem would probably survive a few changes because it's a mature ecosystem with diverse vegetation and organisms. So please let me know if you have any questions.